Good morning. Hope everybody's having a great morning. Good morning, Bumcrack. How you feeling today? Steven, good seeing you. Lag, pleasure as always. I'm doing this solo today, I guess. Todd's on holiday with his bride. And so we will just see how things go. Good morning, Cindy. Get on the right screen here. So, I started my first cardiac rehab yesterday. Todd's been married for 100 years, I think. Lag. I started my cardiac rehab yesterday, and it went well. It was tiresome, and I was pooped when I got back, and only walked. I rode a stationary bicycle for 30 minutes, or one of those inclined ones. And I did it for 15 minutes, and I walked for 15 minutes, and I was really pooped out. My heart rate was kind of high, so they were kind of concerned about that. But being that I just had this procedure done, they said I could. That's probably one of the reasons. And I don't take my meds till 9 o'clock in the morning, so that was at 6:30 yesterday. Thank you, Flag. Let me grab. Speaking of meds, let me grab my meds. Sorry about that. Um, it's time. So anyway, sorry. Both Roberta and I both take our meds at the same time during the day. That's all. Once again, sorry about that. I was going to take them before I got online, but Roberta and I got some mail from about insurance, and that's always get you distracted. Uh, yeah, that's a lot. That's right, Carol. Good morning. The Daily Med Show with Tom. But anyway, it went well. I'm not really having too much of an issue with the diet lag because I'm just really not eating a lot. And so, it's something I got to do. So that makes it different. And I found out at my doctor's appointment they're going to, because my sugar levels were, as in they say in the South, my sugar levels were a little high. I'm going to be taking Ozempic for a little bit, which is, according to Roberta, is I'll have to make myself eat because I won't think about eating. Hey, Diane. Bum crack, I hope you're doing better. So that's that. I'm feeling marvelous. Like your mom always has high sugars. So, I met with the the diet, I want to stick to the diet because I want to get off all these meds. When I can get off of them, I want to be able to get off of them. Because being Roberta had her liver transplant, there's so much that goes through the liver and the kidneys and whatnot. It is really not good for you. So, such as life. Oh, I need to. Let's see. What are we going to talk about today? Uh, for those of you that have YouTube channels and might not have noticed, they've made some changes to the the requirements for monetization. First of all, instead of over here when you go to your studio, it doesn't say monetization anymore. It says earn. And it's a lot better. It's a lot more straightforward because it says, like, you have to have. This is for a channel that I just post crap to every once in a while. Like recently, I had a Christmas video on it, and so I don't have any subscribers, maybe one. Um, and it says how many watch hours you have, and then because of shorts or monetizing shorts now, you have to have 10 million shorts views. So if you have the 1,000 subscribers and like 10 million shorts views, then you qualify for monetization. So that's it. I mean, it's real straightforward. Um, the 10 million views, that's a lot of views. Unless you're a 20-something-year-old buxom with a big old booty.
Well, then you'd have OnlyFans.
And,
um, shorts.
you have, you'd knock that out in no time. And you would have 10 billion subscribers. So if you haven't looked at it, go check your channel and just see what it says. It's no big deal. Continuing with on the monetization of YouTube, they've made some changes. They're really coming down on a lot of profanity and a lot of they they're getting rid of a lot of profanity. They're wanting to get rid of it, even on channels that it's said that it's not for children. It's not made for children. They're still coming down on it. A lot of the gaming channels are kind of having issues, and because of the violence in the YouTube videos, the profanity in the YouTube videos, people they want to I totally lost my thought there. Roberta said something to me. Because they're wanting to keep. She said that because they want to keep it advertiser friendly, but they're wanting to. They're coming down on it, the violence, the profanity, and if you watched any of the games, like the shooter channels, that goes hand in hand. So that's something to keep out. So, Maggie, you're just going to have to watch your language. Sorry, I had to check something. The other thing is, I think something we discussed before, but YouTube's also implementing a program where you can. They're going to have a specific library that has like mainstream music in it that you can use in your videos. And once you become monetized, then they will take a portion of that to pay the royalties to the performer, which is cool. If you like Taylor Swift and you want some of that background, and if she has some songs, good morning, Mike. If she has some songs on the list, you can put them on there. Problem is, if at any point they decide to drop from the program, you're going to have to remove your. Good morning, Texas Bandit. You're going to have to remove your video, or you're going to have to go in and cut the sound out of it. Good morning, Anissa. So that's about all the YouTube news. And if you're interested in that kind of stuff, a good source is Nick Nimmons. He's a YouTuber, has a lot of he does a lot of videos about what's going on in YouTube and whatnot. And they say you're creeping on him. I have too many tags up. So what's going on with everybody else? Where is... There's the link if anybody wants to come in and join me. Feel free to do so. I hope. So how's everybody's new year going? Are you on track for in the direction you want to go? Getting them sales up. We were watching earlier today, or earlier this morning. We were watching a clip on a horror movie called Megan that came out. That is one creepy little girl in that thing, which she's supposed to be a doll. Mike, are you still down in Florida, or are you back up north? Good morning, just Pamela. How's things up north? I know you would buy that doll, Lag. You're just as creepy as hell anyway. There he is. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Tom.
How are you today?
Oh, pretty good, I guess. It's kind of, I don't know, weather here and there. You know, one day is 60, next day is 40.
Yeah, we got, there's supposed to be a bad storm coming through here. Out west, I think they're getting a lot of snow, but
Yeah,
we're just getting rain here.
yeah, our electric was out for about 2 hours yesterday because no reason I called our electric company making sure it wasn't ours, but yeah, this transformer got hit by something, blew or something. I don't know, some kind of deal.
Yeah, that's like ours. It can rain hard and we'll lose power here, and everybody around us will have like we're in the inside of a circle, we'll all lose power. Everybody outside the circle will have power.
Yeah, well, last year we had trouble with our main circuit breaker in our house. I mean, on our pole we have here, and it cost almost $900 to replace that stupid circuit breaker, and that ain't cost labor too. At least I knew a electrician kind of gave me a good deal. He only charged me like $200 to do all the work, about 5 hours of work.
We've got to have our breaker box redone. Our breaker box is so old that they're starting to phase out the breakers for it.
Yes, that what trouble was on ours. To get the replacement breaker, it would cost a little bit more than that. It was cheaper to replace the whole 9 yards than buying that breaker. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, yeah. I found a place that had some, so I bought a couple extra ones. They didn't have any more of the size that I was replacing, but I went ahead and got a couple extra ones for some other things in case in the future we have problems with it. Now, what part of the country are you in, Stephen?
Oh, I live in Kentucky, above Cincinnati. I live in the same town the Noah's Ark is in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I live in that town there. Well, basically, it's like two towns together, but I consider it one town because it's called Wingstown and Dry Ridge. They're just like next to each other. You know what I mean?
Have you? Well, that's like it is down here. You know, little towns just run in together. Have you been to the Ark?
Nah, I never been to the Ark. It was a couple of years ago. I lost mom and stuff, and that was one of the things we was going to go to and stuff. You
Right.
know, it's all right, I believe. I mean, but I don't believe in their restaurant over there because for a local to go over there and eat in their restaurant, you have to pay parking and everything else. I said that ain't no good deal. You shouldn't have if you ain't going into the park. You shouldn't have to pay to eat at the restaurant parking.
Right. My parents went. Well, it's been quite a while back, but they went and they really enjoyed it.
It's
And
really
I
pretty
went.
in the winter time when they had all the lights up.
Right. It's and I've seen other videos where people are like, it's a ripoff, it's a scam, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, you got to think about it what it is.
I know that one guy sold that land, got rich. Woo-wee.
Yeah.
I kind of knew him. We have a farm across the road from it. Well, kind of across the road from it. You can actually sit on our farm and look over it with the boat. We can. But I told Dad, I said we need to hold on that property in case they ever want to develop it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, something else will eventually want to come in there.
yeah.
And
But really and truthfully, we don't have nothing here. They're just now building hotels around here to actually, for visitors to come. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, we have Carowinds here, the amusement park,
Yeah,
and that's part of the Cedar Fair group. So I know y'all got a bunch of those up there around you.
yeah. Well, we have one called Kings Island,
Yeah.
the closest one we had to us, well to me. But I'm looking for a regular amusement park would come in here if that ever go over well for. Cause everybody needs something else to do after they come visit the other park. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
And, and,
I
and
have a feeling we'd be like Dollywood. I'm not Dollywood, but like eventually, I think one day if this see more happen, I believe we could be like Gattenberg, something like
right.
that. Some kind of that basically. Gattenberg wasn't real big till I don't know in the late '90s. Really, being truthfully, it took them about 25 years to actually.
Well, that's like we were supposed to go on a cruise and we've canceled it because I just don't feel comfortable going that far away this close after having the procedure, and we were talking about going up to maybe Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge or someplace like
Yeah, you
that.
don't need. You don't really need right now. You don't really need to take a really long trip. Maybe like a week's trip or something not over water. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Well,
I,
the one we were going on, it was we were driving to Tampa, um, and then we were going to be gone for 8 days on the cruise, and then driving back from Tampa, with the thoughts of maybe stopping like in Orlando at one of the parks. But Disney World has gone all to hell, and um, apparently some of the things that I wanted to see is closed for remodeling and whatnot. So that was that was going to come out of the picture. Um, but we were thinking about going over to Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge, and I am old enough to remember when there was nothing out there.
I mean, I'm a lot younger than you. I'm in my 40s. But I still can remember when it wasn't really big. You know what I mean?
Right. Matter of fact, we used to call when I was in the 70s, when I was in my early 20s. When people got married, they either went to Myrtle Beach or they went to Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
We referred to Gatlinburg as the Myrtle Beach of the mountains. And now that people go everywhere, but I remember when there was nothing over there.
Yeah, I live around. I live probably around about less than about 125 miles from Tar and Jim and Tar.
Right.
It's not really too far. It's a couple hours I could be down there, if I went around the same town. Because Tar came up about where one of them horse shows. She came up real close to my area. One time. Where is Silver Stacker today?
Todd is on. He and his wife took a few days, and they've gone to the beach.
Oh, that's nice. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't want to imagine Todd in a speedo. Yeah. Let me
Um,
work that image out of my head here.
they,
I can imagine now. He's had the cargo shorts on with big socks on with sandals.
Probably so. Uh, his wife, his mother-in-law had to move in with them because
Yeah.
Gwen had to start, and Gwen and her sisters had to see after her, and I think they just needed to get away for a few days.
I
So,
know. I know. I'm a caretaker of my dad. I take care of my dad, and it's like it's kind of hard to You remember when you like your parents or something, what I'm trying to say, when they like in their vibe, and then when they start going in their mind, they can say they can do it, but they can't do it no more. You know what I'm trying to say?
well, that's just like now. I'm 65, and and I think to myself, well, I used to do that. I should still be able to do that. But that was, you know, 20 years ago,
Well,
30 years ago.
my dad ain't much older than you. My dad around 70. I say he born in 51, so he's around what 72 years old or something like
Yeah.
71. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and what I'm trying to say, but he has stroke about 10 years back, and I think sometimes it kind of mess with him. You know what I mean, a little bit.
Right.
But I like to sit there and listen to some of the stories he had.
It's my dad passed away a couple of years ago, and you look at your like my dad. My dad always he was very independent. He always did everything he wanted to do. Um, he was very active. Idle hands are the work of the devil. I'm sure was his thought because as boys we always had some chore to do. And when he got sick, he lost his sight, and he just went downhill from that. And
Well, a couple
and
years
we ended up
ago,
having to stay, I guess, 6 months. My
yeah,
brothers and I took turns staying with my mom and him, so he could be at home and we could take care of him. And
yeah.
that's a lot of work.
Well, a couple years ago, my dad had the detached retina surgery, and that one eye it can't see anymore. But I think sometimes he milk it because I know he can see better than you think he can. But I drop something on the floor like a pin or something like that. Oh, there I couldn't see it myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, we never said it to my dad, but I think at times, and my mom said it that he could see better than. Sometimes he could see better than he was letting on to be.
Well, you know how my dad came from the generation that the mom, the wife's at home and, you know what I mean, at home and do all the work and stuff, and and the husband come, just work, out of the, household, you know what I mean. But
Right,
my dad pinned on my mom a whole lot. You know what I'm trying to say. I mean,
right.
and like as I told Dad, I said, you can go and get your own cup of coffee. It tastes better when you go get it.
It,
Stuff like that, you
it
know.
it's tough watching your parents get to that position. You know where
I,
they,
I know I know he's like, well, he's not giving up, but I think he's kind of not. You know what I mean?
right.
Not want to do like after I lost my mom and stuff. I just think I catch him. I catch himself call me his wife's name sometimes. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like my mom named Darlene, and it's like Darlene. And he catch himself. You know, it's like he told me one day. He said, "I'm grateful and blessed having you in my life because without you, I could never make it myself."
Well, you know, if my mom for any reason had have gone before my dad, my dad would have went right after, because he just couldn't get along without her.
See you see what I'm saying. My dad
Yeah.
the same way. You know, it's like, I don't believe he could uh, live on his own. Out.
Right. Um, you know, and I think that's because women are strong. You know,
Yeah, you
they're
don't
more
get
independent.
some men don't give enough credit, but women is actually sometimes stronger than men
Yeah.
in some cases. I don't know about the women nowadays, but uh, I ain't knocking it, but I ain't being like stereotyping, but I don't think sometimes women ain't strong like the women back in the day. I mean, I don't know.
Women,
It could be just
women. My mom and dad were married 68 years,
yeah. My mom,
and my
I think
mom, which my mom says she's still married.
I think my yeah. I think my dad and then I think we what 40. I think I'm 40 some years. They was married a year before I did, and then dad got mom drunk, I guess, and had me. I actually what my mom was 32 years old and my dad was 28 when they had me, so they had me more later in life. See, I think sometimes that basically what to deal with some how the kids act according how old their parents is when they have them. Don't you agree on that?
I think so because I was 40 when my first one came along,
Yep.
and so and Roberta was 30. She was 30, so she was still young, but I was literally the old man. You know, as far as most people and their children.
Yes. I understand. Yeah, that I think that make a whole lot of difference because when people get in their 30s and 40s and stuff like that, or late 20s, they ain't acting like they was when they're 19 years old and stuff and having kids. I don't care what anybody said.
Well, I'm just old and cantankerous. I got mine.
I feel older than I am. I guess because I hang out with older people sometimes. My attitude, I don't get along with my own age group as much as my dad's age group.
It's well, just the type just about the environment that you're in. Sometimes you just don't want that crap. You don't want to deal with all the nonsense. You just want to get on with life. And
Yeah.
but it's people are just not people are not having kids like they used to.
Well,
Around the world, people are just not having kids because
well,
they're
who
too
can
busy
afford them?
chasing everything else.
Who can afford them?
That's that's the truth. Good morning, Glock. No, Todd is on holiday today.
I won't never I never will get married or have kids. I know that. I mean, at my age now, I don't want a wife and kids.
All you single ladies out there, Steven apparently is available.
I don't want no. The, the statute is you have a prenup.
The
Uh, I don't know.
oh, there's trouble.
Sometimes you have to be goofy. Sometime in life.
Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Scott. How you doing this morning?
I'm trying to wake up.
You just got up.
Well, I got up at 5 when these little bastards on my shirt decided it was time for them to eat. And I told them all to go back to sleep, and then they woke me up at 6:40. That's all they could stand. Then I fell asleep in the recliner after I fed them. So, yeah. Here.
I thought about you, Scott, one day when I went to assignment auction and
Sorry about that.
no, I went to assignment auction. They have a dog they're trying to get away. One of them dachshunds one time, and it was a cute little dog. I almost picked it up, but someone got it before, claimed it before I could decide on it. But
Yeah, I was up late, so I'm building my first ever course, and so it's a lot of video to edit. So I was doing I'm like, I'm gonna finish editing what video I've got because I'm trying to be done with the video by Friday, and so I can start building it in the course builder. And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning before I finally finished. I'm like, you know how you get on a roll and you're doing stuff and you're like, you can see the end and you go, man, at the hell with this. What's another hour?
I know my sleeping pattern needs to change, but I can't function half the time. One day I go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. Next day I go to bed at 6 o'clock in the morning. Don't get up till 8 or 9 or something like that. It's like I can't sleep right.
Yeah, I'm dragging so bad this morning, and when I made the coffee, Johnny said, "Do you need an Adderall to go with your coffee?" I'm like, I don't think it's quite that bad yet.
I know what it is. Sometimes I'm not burning enough energy. Because when I used to work as manual labor, I can go sleep just like that. Now I can't.
Yeah, that dude's an asshole. I hate Manuel.
So what's your course on? How to be the very best University of Alabama fan that you can be?
Yeah, how not to kill your girlfriend when you're playing sports? That one, yeah, that's. Uh, it's just on teaching retail arbitrage. The one thing that I've done for so long, and the one thing that I can tell you about reselling that's never going to change is there's going to be people quitting today, but there are going to be just as many new people coming in, and so that's why I've been doing the Thursday night show, just trying to meet part of a different audience, more than newer people to give more exposure. That's why I've been trying to focus on making more videos. Because in the past I've done the live classes,
Right.
and so you've got two choices. If you do the live classes for the period of time you got it, it's a lot of commitment for that 3 months.
Right.
Or if you could spend the time up front to record all the video. I think I've got 7 hours worth of video recorded so far, and all that editing that goes into it. It's got a longer lasting. So now, once I can just you can refresh it, you can update it, you can do those kind of things. So
Right.
Hey Scott, I have a question. When people buy them from Dollar Trees and stuff like that product and sell online, do you ever have any customer come back to you and said like, you got that at Dollar Tree and you gouging us or something?
no, that see, for the see most people don't, especially younger resellers that don't have a ton of experience. They don't understand that we see. I was talking about this in one of the last videos I made last night. We're weirdos. You know, I used to think, you know, everybody else was strange, but the more I look at, you know, when I walk in a store somewhere, I can, my mind goes to, you know, what is this worth somewhere else? You know, is this a good deal? You know, you look at something and see some value in it, and what would it be a value to someone else versus what's it a value to you? And not everybody sees the world that way. I'd come to find out.
Yeah, I'm looking at a product there. I just wondering because I just looking at a product there and I might buy a test buy to actually try it first before I
Uh,
actually buy a case or so.
Now, my buddy John, who's on the show with me a lot, old Grumpy, he's probably going to sell $3.5 to $4 million this year on Amazon, and he built that thing through starting at Dollar
Yeah,
Tree.
I knew that. I knew that. I just like
People don't, you know, remember why they're buying from you online. They're buying for convenience. For the most part, either they can't find it or it's convenience.
well most while I'm
So
looking at the price point, most of the price points is if you buy it for like a dollar a quarter, around dollar a quarter now, you can usually expect to sell it from like 9.95 or 12.95, something like that. Around in that, you're making around about $3 off each unit.
and remember, Amazon's a little bit of a different beast. They'll cut you a break if something is small and light, and
Yeah.
then, you know, if you allow them to do the shipping. So, you know, it's a different business model on Amazon and eBay because you can, you know, remember there's a Dollar Tree every 10 feet. They're getting as bad as Dollar General. So, you know, there's a market for that product. It's can you keep it? That's the sweet spot. Can you keep it 9.99 or less, and can you make money at it?
See,
So,
that's the problem. And the time the shipping going up, like anything over like 5 ounces anymore costs you $6. I mean, according where you located it.
One thing about Dollar Tree is, especially when you start talking about like books and things like that, not every Dollar Tree has the same books.
correct.
They don't have the same merch. Because I was put on a book and I went to one book Dollar Tree right up the road from my house, and they had a couple of the books, and then I went to one that's a mile away, and they didn't have any, and I asked the store manager if they had any in the back they hadn't put out, and she said no, we didn't get that.
Well,
So
that's
not
the
so not
reason
every
why you want
time,
to.
not everybody gets the same product in these. I mean, they have their base product, where they're buying all the Chinese crap, but stuff like books and things like that. Some toys, they don't have them at all the stores.
That's the reason why you want to go online and buy the case if you want. If you know that product going to sell it. That way you can just ship it to your store and pick it up.
Yeah, but sometimes they don't have some of the product they don't have in the case lots.
Yeah, you have to check their website to see what's available by
Yeah.
the case.
And their website needs to be updated. Something that's funky sometimes.
It's so you're about ready to publish it.
It's either this Friday or next. It'll probably be I'm not this coming Friday. It's either a week from tomorrow or 2 weeks from tomorrow. It depends on how long. I haven't signed up for the website, the hosting site yet, so I'll do that this weekend. So I'm reading a book um, who from a guy who teaches you about this kind of stuff and effective teaching, and he is a big Kajaba is the name of the hosting platform, and I mean, there's so much to learn. You know, you have to learn about sales funnels and email funnels and stuff that, Tom, we're getting old to be learning all this new shit.
Well, that's just it. Things are changing. So, and like you said, we are getting old. Hey, Mr. Sadie.
Shut
So
your mouth.
I really want to build on this, and my goal for the year is to build 3 of these, to put one out spring and then after the summer. So just to build a catalog, and I'm gonna put there'll be a Facebook group behind it too. So it'll allow extra teaching and be able to focus on that as well. So
Now, I don't want you coming out with. I don't want to see you on late night TV now, standing around with a scantily clad of beauties in front of your mansion and your Ferrari, saying, I can teach you how to get this.
what the hell I want all that for? I done put up with Johnny for 34 years. Damn if I'm starting over with a new crackhead.
I love my wife, but I've told her, I said, there will not be another Mrs. Tom Hucks. If for some reason she's
Okay,
the first to go, that's just going to be out of the That's out of
I'm the same way. And Harlan, Harlan's divorced now for a few years. Harlan actually got married the same year I did. But he's been divorced for 3 or 4 years now. And he swears never, ever, never, ever, never, ever. And so I had to send him this message when I saw it on Facebook. I don't know if you've seen this one before. The happiest day of my life. I'm the guy in the back.
out on the fishing boat.
Oh yeah. Only response I get is LOL. You're damn right.
Good morning, Craig. Good morning, Resale King.
So,
It's yeah.
Oh, Harlan's just out there having fun now.
it's also about time too, Tom. I sit around and think how can I be more effective, and because the one thing I truly believe and the reason why I still do YouTube and why I try to help people, I think we're very fortunate to do what we do in this time. And it took me 25 years to get out of restaurants before. I didn't have anybody that explained to me how to do this. I figured it out on my own, and there was no help. And people are stuck in these crazy miserable jobs, and it's there's a way out if you believe in yourself and through a lot of hard work, you don't have to work for somebody else. And it's made a I tell everybody it's made a huge difference in Joni got sick. I mean, I couldn't have been there for her if I was still working in all those restaurants.
Right. It's but people have asked me about how do you resell it, and I've told them, don't waste your time. I know how you are. You'll spend a lot of time and a little money, and then you'll say this is too much work.
Okay, so that I wrestled with that, Tom, and so that's why even though it's on retail arbitrage, the first two modules are about mindset and about the way, because you've got to change the way if you're going to step into an entrepreneurial life and you're going to try to see things and do things different, you really have to. When's the last time anybody talked to you about setting a goal, about why do you want to do this? What's your why? That's one of the biggest questions, because it's not all just roses and cupcakes over here. There's going to be tough days. There's going to be days where you just don't feel like, what pushes you through, burnout is inevitable. We are, especially if you're like me and don't want employees, and so you insisting on doing everything yourself. Burnout is inevitable. So how do you get through burnout? How do you, what makes you continue to, first of all, I never want to have another job again. So that's a big one, but
You don't want to get back into the fast food industry?
they can kiss my ass.
Hell no.
Yeah, I'd go drive a postal truck. I'd go drive a big rig before I did that again.
Heck, our pizza delivery guy getting $20-some an hour around here.
So Larry said he's telling AI to make him rich. So, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity with AI. We talked about it yesterday on
Yeah.
You got two, John's. You can either be the way I got to look at it or the way John. It was a perfect, dichotomy of the left and the right of this situation. are you going to be the person who looks at it and goes, how can I make money with this? How can this benefit me? How can I get ahead of this? Are you gonna be John and go, right, and stick your head right in the sand and be done with it, and hope AI doesn't hit you in the ass when it goes by.
I tried on that website and its server down or something on my end.
So it's under heavy. They are trying to expand their capacity. Every time I log into it, it says we're experiencing high volume. Please be patient.
They are getting hammered
Yes.
because everybody's got a YouTube video about it, and
So the big thing will happen is sometime this summer Google is supposed to release theirs, and that'll take the pressure off. Once there's a competing faction, so that there's more than one, and it has people's attention, that'll pretty much double the capacity at a minimum.
And you got me going down a rabbit hole the other day looking at some fast food restaurants that getting automated now. Thank you, Scott.
That one in Fort Worth is very interesting, where it has no dining room, nowhere to seat, just a place to walk up and order. It looks like your standard. You've seen them, Tom, because Bojangles has got a few of them in Charlotte, where it's just straight drive-through, like almost like a little bit bigger than a Checkers.
right.
But it's got people cooking in the back, but a lot of that's even been automated. So basically, there's a manager and a kitchen staff. That's it. You're talking to. So they've got two options. You're either talking to a computer that gets your order at the speaker, or some of them are even using remote call. So, you could be talking to Sally Sue in a remote call center in North Dakota somewhere, because has the ability in front of her computer to place the order for you.
Well, the hell is my bank does. But I ain't talking to my local bank if I have a call. They have a call center.
Yeah. With the
As long as they speak English, that's all I matter.
online ordering, you know,
Damn it.
and places like Chick-fil-A, who has got their pickup service down to an art.
But Chick-fil-A will not go that way, because the one thing, see, you can look at, McDonald's has miserable customer experience. You look at them, people gripe and complain about it. What's the one thing you don't complain about at Chick-fil-A?
Customer service.
They are winning, so the chicken sandwich is good. I'm going to tell you, it's very good. But it's not the greatest chicken sandwich you've ever had. Popeyes might be a touch better, and that's a sacrilege for me to say in the South. But the one thing I can guarantee you about Chick-fil-A, it is always the same. It doesn't matter when you go in there. Their consistency of delivery of a product,
Right.
and by that same friendly, I don't care. I've been in Chick-fil-A's from here to LA. And I was pleasantly surprised when I went to the one out in LA that it was still the same. They still found the same friendly person, from here to coast. People, Chick-fil-A gets a bad rap about, they're anti this, anti that. I've seen all colors of the rainbow from here to there, and they were all the same. They were still just nice people waiting on you. It was still the same. My pleasure. It was. They sell an experience. They sell an experience that people you don't get anymore. Tom can tell you, he's old enough. You know what? When you went with your dad to buy stuff, it was an experience. Customer service was an art form. People.
Oh, they got mad at me when I used to work at Walmart.
People.
Because I had one old gentleman come up here almost every week that I work in the garden center, because he couldn't figure out how to wind the string on his meteor, spool. I said, sir, I'll do it for you. And boss came out there to me and said, what are you doing? I said, I'm helping this customer out here. He said, well, you don't have to be helped. I said, well, I told the customer, I said, give me 15 minutes. I'll go clock out and do it on my own time. I said, he don't want to help nobody. Oh, he got so mad at me, manager.
So Tim says that he could use a chicken sandwich on Sunday, though. So the one thing I'll tell you, Tim, and it's really important that people learn this part. I was watching an Instagram video today, and the guy is a smart guy who is a consultant type said, it's Hormozy is his name, said that, early on, if you could, when they told Truett Cathy, you're losing $1,300 a day at a restaurant. So it wasn't a big number. So it's easier to stand on principle. if Chick-fil-A opened on Sundays today, they would generate another $750 million in profit. And I would argue with you that because they are standing on their principles and they are doing things because they believe in something, it makes them more money throughout the week. I would be willing to bet that they would lose a lot of respect for what they have built up if they sold it on Sunday.
Well, I went to eat out last night, and I was sitting there at the restaurant, and I seen about 7 employees. They had 7 employees, only 3 or 4 customers in there, and none of them doing nothing because they jacking around in the back and talking and playing around. I said, if they had some robots doing their work, look how much money they would save. Not having these employees that jacking around and wasting the time of the restaurant.
It's coming. But I remember. Okay, this is how old I am. I can remember as a Cub Scout age going to a McDonald's in Charleston. Good morning, anytime. Um, and it was walk up only. There was no dining room.
Yeah, so Huntsville had one of those. They had when I first started dating Joni back in the. I still remember they you on the main parkway they had built behind it, but they still had the front of it and still had the big. Remember how the arches used to go from the ground?
Right.
It wasn't these big areas. They had one of those old stores, the first one here in Huntsville, and yeah, people forget McDonald's started as a walk up. There was no inside. They started as walk up. Count.
Back during the shutdown, the Bojangles had their drive-through open, and I'd go through the drive-through. And one day the manager was there, and I said, "When are y'all going to open up the? When are you going to open up the dining room again?" And he said, "Frankly, I hope we never open
Never.
up the
Oh, I,
drive-through of the dining room."
so what? I did that for so long. The one thing I always wished for was no dining room because you could the most disappointing thing was that as we shut dining rooms down, the drive-throughs got worse. I'm like, how did they get worse whenever all you have to do is concentrate on one area? They should have gotten much faster. People. I guess it was didn't have any help or didn't have product or both, but you would
I
think
think
it
it's
would have
people
gotten
paying
faster.
attention. Back to Chick-fil-A. One of the things, okay, their line around here in Charlotte is always insane. I'm not going to sit in line to order a chicken sandwich. Um,
But you'll get through there in the same amount of time you'll get through anywhere else, which is
yeah, but we have some long lines around here. Matter of fact, one of the sub shopping centers is talking about um, not renewing a Chick-fil-A's lease because they disrupt during lunch hour. They disrupt the traffic pattern so bad inside their shopping center because lines are
you want to
everywhere.
piss off your customer base, take that Chick-fil-A away from them.
Yeah. Um, but actually, they're looking at. Actually, they got an option on a piece of property that would really work out better because they can have long lines, drives coming
That
into it.
happened here. There's one in Madison that every breakfast and lunch, it'd be into the road. And when the new plaza came, I guess it's about a mile and a half down the street, other side of the street, they built the new Chick-fil-A, but they built one of these with the double lot, so it had a huge double drive-through line all the way around that damn building. And
Right.
you drive by there now and you look at it and go, there must be 50 cars in drive-through.
Well, see, Roberta mentioned just a minute ago. She said, the right, the order is always right. We've never got a bad order uh, from Chick-fil-A. Back during the lockdown, when everybody was just doing drive-through, people were still leaving out stuff out of our order. What are they doing? Good morning, Anna. Um, all they're doing, the only thing they're doing is cooking and filling bags. How do they still get it wrong? And I just think it's just because people don't care and people weren't paying attention.
Yeah, I watched I think it was on, is it on YouTube or maybe it was on TikTok. A guy from, I don't know where he was from, but he'd never been to a Chick-fil-A. So it was his spirit. It was his experience. He was some kind of reseller because he resold something, but uh, and he's like, what is all the crazy? Well, I mean, why is there so much talk about this? And so he goes, well, I'm waiting a little bit in the drive-through, but man, are they nice? They're really nice, you know. And he pulls into the parking lot. And he looks at the sandwich. He goes, man, it's just got a pickle on it. This is going to be one dry chicken sandwich. Why are people crazy about this? Let me go ahead and take a. People don't realize they pressure cook those things, so that's how they keep the moisture in the chicken is they're pressure cooked, and and you deep fry them in a pressure cooker versus a regular vat. There's a tremendous difference.
Right.
And he's like, how is this sandwich with just pickles so moist? And so, I mean, he just carried on about. He's like, I love
You
a
know,
waffle fry. The waffle fries are great, and I've got condiments. For the first time in the fast food restaurants, when I asked for condiments, I got them. He goes, they asked me at the speaker, and then they asked me again at the window to make sure I got them. He said the experience and then the product quality of the product. He hit it. It's the experience with the customer service, and then the product is above average and consistent. That's the key to Chick-fil-A, and a lot of people appreciate that they stand for principles.
you know, our mall. We have Chick-fil-A's in both of our big malls on my side of town. Um, and I think there's one on at North Lakes, which is up by the Speedway. Um, they're not open on Sundays.
Nope.
And when the mall approached them, the one down here, they approached them about coming into the to the mall. They said we're not open on Sundays. Well, if you're going to be a mall store, you have to be open on Sundays. We're not a mall store. And eventually, they came into the mall, and they're closed on Sundays because people will come in there. People will come in there just to get Chick-fil-A. What are you laughing about?
Lag said McDonald's could rub his sandwich on the floor. He's still going back.
I haven't ate McDonald's in probably about 7 years.
Now, I like. Okay, I'm gonna say it, and y'all can just get on your high horse or not. I like McDonald's foods. Um,
I
it,
I
it's
try my
it's
best. I try my best not to, and I'm not going to tell you it's for any other reason than the fact that I worked there like 14 years. I damn if I want to look at a McDonald's because you work at a so of those 14 years, the last what 6 or 8 were, I was a training manager for that large store. You get sick and tired of you're there 10 to 12 hours a day, and you eat 2 to 3 meals a day there. Yeah, the last thing you ever want to do.
it's
I felt dumb one day. I went up to Wendy's and I
Just,
said, I want Biggie fry it. And they said, what are you talking about? We don't have, I said, don't that an extra large fry mean Biggie? No, I said, I felt dumb because back in the day, that's what they call it.
yeah.
okay, Steven, just one time. Come on now, you had to have that feeling more than once.
You know,
You'd be amazed, Steven. The question that's a tame question. I have been given a break or something and working a Wendy's drive-through, and people would ask you how many nuggets are in a 5 piece.
oh, I used to like a mess up. Our parking lot, about a mile, less than a mile from our Walmart, and we on the same frequency of the drive-through. We can get at night. We can get up on their drive-through and mess with all the drive-through people.
I'm not gonna tell you I didn't have fun. I had one of my favorite employees in all those years. Was very so she was a recovering drug addict. Um, college educated, really nice, but and so she needed to start to pay rent, and she eventually left me after about a year and a half because she was working at a halfway house, and she became they put her in charge of that one and a couple others. Wilmington, North Carolina, if you didn't know, folks, when I lived there 7 years ago, had 80 or 90 halfway houses. So it's like the drug haven capital of North Carolina. If you're trying to get clean, Wilmington, North Carolina is probably got a room for you. And she was she had a theatrical degree from UNC, and so she could change her voice and stuff. And oh my God, the crap that she would tell people in that drive-through. It was before there were screens and stuff out there, and there'd be just a little post, and she'd be telling them to press 1 for English, and It's just right on the screen, and they'd be going, "What screen? We don't see a screen." I mean, she would she would speak to them in a different language. She would. I mean, it was just. I'd have to take the headset off. It would get so ridiculous.
It,
Uh,
it's the fast food industry, like I've said many times before, it used to be only kids. The manager
yeah.
was an adult, but everybody else that worked kids were kids. And now you see people of all age spectrums working there.
Can you
Well, they
imagine?
can't trust the teenagers anymore to work alone because they don't have no work value of working ethic.
Tom, can you imagine in 1992, I was 23 years old in charge of a 1.8 million dollar McDonald's. I'm 22 years old, and I've got a ton of employees older than me, and okay, so I'm a little more sane than I used to be. So there you go. I'll give you that. Uh, yeah, it was a. I mean, because back then, I mean, I look young. I don't think I look my age, but back then, oh my God, let me find a picture of when Johnny and I got married. I'll show you how young I looked.
The crazy came with the beard.
Mm,
It's it's just such a different time. People are used to getting everything right now, and the quick is getting expensive.
Yeah, but sometimes people buying stuff too quick and want it right then and there. They really just don't really want it.
But we used to get food from Zaxby's, and the last two or three times we picked up food, called in the order, went by to pick it up, the order was wrong. Good morning, Joanna.
Well, the water is wrong. Or warm. I thought you said wrong.
So it's the orders have just been wrong, or they've left stuff out, and Zaxby's not cheap.
I know I put an order in for our Kroger's to pick up the other day, and a couple of things they try to charge me for it I didn't receive. And I don't know. I hate to go back. I hate to play in there. Sometimes it's saying you think they abusing the system or so because I didn't receive it. Did they bleed me? you know.
I'm getting to where I like the pickup.
Me too. Because I hate going into a grocery store. I'm being truthful. I actually saving money, Tom. I look at our budget. It actually saving money by picking up online because you ain't going to say, I'll just get this right here or something like that. You know, you see it on the shelf. I want to try that. You just get the basics and what you want that day.
I can go in. I can go to the grocery store. I can be on the phone with Roberta and say I'm gonna whip it into the McDonald. I'm at the McDonald's, the food line, and I'm gonna grab a gallon of milk. Sasha said we're out of milk. And before I get out of there, I just about have a buggy full because I remember, well, we need such and such. Or they'll
Yeah.
have a sale going on and I'll pick up something that the boys can eat for dinner.
all right, you ready for this?
Okay, Laius.
Oh God,
I was that young in charge of that big ass restaurant. I told you we look like children. We're 21 and 22. We look like children.
Y'all look like teenagers. But when you get to be as old as you are, Scott, everybody looks like teenagers. Well, it's like when I was at the doctor. I had a follow up on Monday with well, he wasn't my
Yeah, don't tell Johnny you ever saw that one.
yeah, I've seen that one.
what's wrong with it?
her,
Um,
her and her big hair, blue eyeshadow.
no,
I think she's a pretty girl.
the other one. I had an appointment with my GP. Only he wasn't my normal GP, and this GP comes in there,
You're a lucky man, Scott.
and he looks like he's about 17 years old. I said, I don't want to be. I said, I'm not saying anything about your service or your abilities or anything like that. I said, but how old are you? And he said, I'm 29. I said,
You look like, even with the mask, you look like you're about 20, about 17 years old. He says, "Well, that's good. You made me a little bit older." He said, one lady came in here and he said, "You look like you're about the same age as my 15-year-old grandson."
Oh Lord.
I still get ID when I buy alcohol.
Okay, so
It's
we talk about AI and all this stuff. I'm sitting here thumbing through these pictures. I can't find that picture. But if you hit the search function, it recognized faces and pulled up every picture with her face in it.
with Jonies.
Yeah, I clicked on her, and it pulled up every picture in Google Photos with her on it, and it's easier to scan through if only looking for pictures of the both of us.
I know they're taking away our privacies and stuff, but with that AI and stuff, couldn't you people look up people's address and where everybody is and stuff like that nowadays?
Mike, that's because you're getting old.
Uh, no, it's. I'm sure there's going to be nefarious people. People have nefarious things with it, but it's as of right now, you can't. Right now, because of it has a right now it has a fixed data set, and that data set, even though you connect to the internet to use it, for its functionality, it is not connected to the internet. So if you ask it a question right now, Chat GPT, it's only up to 2021. So if you ask it anything about 2022, it doesn't know. And
I just wondering because when they sign up for that website, you have to give your name and telephone number. So I just wondering that.
if they want my boring life, come on and get it.
Um,
Yep,
Joanna, did you get
that's how I
that?
feel. But
Did you get that unicorn to light up? Her little girl was doing a video where she was unboxing a nightlight, I think it was, and she couldn't get it to light up like it was supposed to. She's got a cute little girl. Um, Craig, did I tell you good morning? I saw. I can't remember. You know, I'm old and things kind of slip through. And anybody else that I missed. Um,
Why would you want to tell Craig good morning?
well, I'm just trying to be polite. You know, that's a southern thing to do.
If he wants to be told good morning, he can turn his camera on and come say hello himself.
bless your heart, Tom.
He, yeah, bless your heart. He's working, I think. Yeah. How you about sold through that storage locker?
You know that'd be a answer
Good morning,
no.
lag. We're all going to get together and we're going to hire a dadgum detective to hunt you down.
Yeah, I've got a mental list of all the things he said. So
You need to
and
get
now he probably says stuff just to mess with me.
yeah.
My guess is Tom. He's our age. Is my guess. My guess is he's between 45 and 55. But with my guess,
And he's a
Do
she.
that.
and he's a she.
Yeah, he's a she. Uh, but you
Maybe
know,
a female.
I think I think everybody going online shopping it's going to help everybody, especially in the reselling business that sell online,
I
because
have a feeling.
people are
I
getting
have a
used
feeling it's
to
going
it.
to be more and more and more online because they're going to just have centers come along and you can pick up your order at the center. No indoor shopping no more. Everything you just pick it up.
Yeah, I thought I caught a picture of lag. I thought he looked just like that. 'Cause I
They
can
got
Java,
good tools.
I can
They
imagine
got good
him
tools.
with. Can't you imagine lag with a Java laugh?
yeah.
He'll type something out and go. Hey,
You know
Chuck, what's going on, buddy? How you doing this morning?
the prime guy.
Shouldn't you be outside shoveling snow or something up there in North Dakota? Isn't it cold?
Uh, no, thank you. Uh,
Yeah,
it's
when I said shovel snow, I mean, I can't even imagine what kind of mindset it takes to live in that. And I can see the same fear in Tom's eyes too. I'm like,
I just God love you people for staying up there, and I know it's because you're used to it. These people have lived there all their life, and they're used to this 8 feet of snow and the 14 below zero. It's like Nikki, you know. Man, it's cold up here. It's 20 degrees. That's what I'm saying. And then she gets on there and says it's minus 14 degrees up here.
I mean, I couldn't live up there. I couldn't live up there. It had snow all the time. I mean, it's all right having once in a while, but I couldn't live constantly in the cold.
all right, so,
Joanna's laying out in the sun today because it's only 41 degrees today.
so Roman might be right. Maybe I've got the wrong image. Maybe that's lag in the drain right there. Pennywise in the drain.
He creeps me out.
Yeah.
But like I said, these people have lived there all. But in the likewise, they come to Charleston in August. It's 100 degrees and 500% humidity, and they're dying.
But okay, so just because you lived there all their life, that don't mean nothing. How many of them decide to go to Florida? Florida's filled with all the people that live. I mean, look at the great womanizer that is Jim. They got the hell out of Wisconsin. So either they didn't like Nicole or they ran Jim out, one or the other. I don't know.
I think
I
a
think
lot of it is just.
Tara wants to get in more into the horses and down through here more into the horses.
Man, Steven, would you stop? I know the real reason. That's
Um,
no fun. That's no fun. You got to talk them up. If you start talking about Jim and Tara, they'll show up.
yeah, I think people just get tired of dealing with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Plus, the cost of
This,
living is cheaper here.
I know this guy, and I'm sure I've told the story before. They're from Buffalo, and a few years back, when they had like 14 feet of snow in about 2 hours, that's an exaggeration, but not too far off. His wife would normally take 45 minutes to go from her office to their house.
Jim
She was like
walked
6
5 miles in
hours.
the
She
snow back
waited.
in the day.
It took her like 6 hours to get home. By the time she got home, she walked in. The story is, as told, is she came in, she set her purse and her keys and her phone up on the cabinet in the kitchen and said, I've got a job in Charlotte. I'm moving. You can go with me if you want to. And her husband, Paul, was like, what? And she said, it's taken me 6 hours to get home. I'm done. They're both Buffalo people. They've lived there all their life. They learned how to drive in 2 feet of snow. Blah 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 blah. She said, I've just had enough. While she was waiting in traffic, she had checked their company website, found out the position was available in Charlotte. Then she found out that the person that was doing the hiring was a former boss of her who had transferred to Charlotte. She still had his phone number and called him and said, I see you got a job available in Charlotte. He said, when can you start? That was it. And she came down here, and her husband, he finished, worked his time up there. Then when he didn't find a job till he came down here. But their kids are like, what's going on here? And in 2 weeks, she had an apartment here in Charlotte. It just happened so fast. But now, he says his kids love it down here because they have a good laugh because it might get down to 18 degrees here in Charlotte. So schools are going to be closed tomorrow. And they're like, man, they didn't close schools up there till they had like 12 feet of snow on the ground. That's because the snowplows couldn't push it off fast enough.
Yeah, the last time I was in Buffalo, I think it might have been my brother and I were. I guess it was 17 or 18. We were sourcing together. We went to Buffalo chasing Rite Aids, and we pulled in there, and it was like a little, just flurries. We woke up the next morning to like, I don't know, 3 feet of snow because we didn't look at the weather. We don't care, and we were amazed by how good the roads were, and when you deal with that kind of stuff, the roads were very clear and passable, no issues. We were shocked with the amount. Well, like this would have closed Alabama, the entire state, down for about a month.
It would close
Exactly.
those down by a week or two.
It would have if we had that kind, if we had a foot of snow, it come down at one time, like they do up there, just a foot, not 6 feet, just a foot. The Carolinas would be in a total disarray because we would not know what to do with it because we don't have the snow moving equipment, and
Hey,
it just it just doesn't happen.
I got an idea for my next video. Or next time it snows here, it's gonna be on. I'm gonna do a video of me making milk sandwiches.
Milk sandwiches. No, sandwiches.
And make sure you
That's
put your snow.
You got to put an M in
chains on.
there.
Make sure you put your snow chains on too.
It's against the law to use snow chains down here.
Hey, Lag, stop that crap. We know you're in Philadelphia. You're not in Pittsburgh. Stop that.
I think it is now. I think it now is here too, but I'm not sure. It don't snow enough to actually use them around here no more.
We just don't get snow. I mean, we might get an inch. That's
I
about
think
it.
I think the whole year we only got like 3 inches this year.
Now, and I'm saying that's in the Charlotte area, okay? Because up in the mountains where Roberta's family lives, they get snow up there, and they get amounts of snow.
Yeah, higher altitude.
Yeah.
So, see what Lag does now? He throws in Pittsburgh. We're used to it, and now he says, "I mean Philly." So see how he messes. You have to log all these episodes in. Now he's mentioned Pittsburgh, so now you have to throw that on your list of things. We know he's older because of some of the sayings he uses. So I know he's older. So you just one of these. I'm gonna open my own detective agency. Lag, you're very fortunate. You're very fortunate. The person I know that could track you down is no longer with us. If I'd have put Dusty Graham on you before he passed, I'm telling you right now, we'd be on your doorstep this morning.
You'd have brought him a Krispy Kreme and a cup of coffee, wouldn't you?
It's amazing that I've been and I hang out with him, and he's tracked people down. He's found out about their history. He's found out, he's like, "You're not gonna believe this. Read this court case." And he's sending me links to court cases. The craziest that used to go on. You just have no idea.
How long has he been dead now? 2 years?
A year and a half.
Year and a half?
Yeah, this week is next week will be a year for Harlan's brother Kevin.
Just a sad thing.
It's I think about Dusty a lot.
You would have paid him off. Dusty can't hold water. He couldn't hold water. He's as bad as me.
He was a good guy.
Yep.
And I only spoke to him a couple of times.
I haven't ever spoke to him, but I always enjoyed
The bad thing is, I tell people this, we would go, when he passed, he was kind of pissed at me for something. And so I hadn't talked to him in probably 3 weeks, but that wasn't unusual. You would go 6-7 weeks, never hear from him, and then you'd get a text. "Hey, I'm down here. Come grab a beer."
Well, it's a true friend. That's a true friend too.
And yeah, so it's just, but it's real weird because we were, for a long time, the four of us would go out to dinner once a week, and we had not done that for 3 to 4 weeks, and they got sick in that time period. You just curious, if we would have gone through the same thing, if it would have been passed to us,
Right.
but not just because it was, all that stuff was so contagious back then.
I know you know, Scott, but I didn't. I know you maybe don't want to ask this personal information about Dusty and them, but and his family. What happened to all his merchandise he had?
That I have no idea. I have not run into either kid. So Dusty was weird about finances too. So the house the house he was staying in was pretty cheap. It was like 800 a month,
Yep,
and
rent.
you know the guy lived behind him. They were really good friends. They and so Dusty, when he would have he had a good seller. He sold something where he came into some decent money on reselling. So he paid half of his rent up front for the next year. So the year that he last year he had paid, so his rent was only 400 for the year because he'd already paid the first half of it.
Right.
And so you know his daughter worked still. I guess she still works at the she's a manager of a restaurant here in town. So it would not have been too terribly difficult for to maintain that for. But I've got one of his the guy who he used to buy stuff from asked me. You know, I've asked him. I'm like, did you ever hear what happened? Because you know they wouldn't. There was nobody answering phones. It was hard to get. You know, you're used to dealing with the parents. You're not used to dealing with children. So, I honestly have no idea what happened. I drive by the house and there's never cars there. So,
It's he had all kinds of stuff, and one of the things Dusty opened my mind to was um, don't stick to what everybody else is selling. Look, you know, if you see something off the wall, if Google eBay the price on it and see what it's selling for. Get out of your comfort zone. But you know, I think one of the reasons that Dusty and Tristan both went fast was because they did have other health issues besides just the.
and I don't know who their primary doctor was. I think I've talked about this in the past. They were very anti-authority.
Yeah,
So, you know, when you talk to somebody and they have all these problems with everybody, you know, it's one of those points you go, well, hell, sometimes maybe it's you come to that conclusion. You know, they changed doctors a lot because they didn't like the doctors. They had, you know, problems with the people who ran the thrift store they were working. They had problems with um, the school board, all that stuff. So they homeschooled, and so I don't know who their primary doctor were. Tristan definitely. Well, you know what she beat childhood cancer. You know, she and Joni had a laundry list of ailments. I can't tell you how many times we would, you know, hey, we're eating dinner Wednesday night. One of the two of them didn't feel good, and when one of them would say it, the other one would go, well, "Yeah, it's been a bad day." And so Dusty and I were used to that. A lot of times it ended up just being me and Dusty. We're like, "Hell, let's go do something." Since they're not doing anything, it doesn't mean we can't go grab a beer or hang out.
right.
So so Dusty not as much. I don't Dusty. I don't know any. He had a little bit of high blood pressure, but that was about it that I knew of.
Right.
But he was a former smoker.
He was just. I mean, he's just a good guy. I mean, you know, just
Yeah,
from listening to his YouTube videos and whatnot, um, and I always liked his. I mean, I liked his 3 hour videos where they were just driving for a week. When they're driving around, he was talking and whatnot. I always liked those, and he got a lot of complaints about that. But you know, you're talking about YouTube videos. You're going to get people that don't like stuff. He just seemed to be, for a person that did not know him personally, he just seemed to be a good guy.
Yep.
yeah. I don't have any. I really don't have too much negative to say, but I just tell you, real life. If someone, I tell you, people, YouTube brings people in your life, and you're better off for. I'm better off for knowing this.
I just
Right.
sad because they had to take the channel down. That's the sad part of it. All the stuff he taught people and stuff, and they had to buttholes had to make them take it down. That you know, it's,
I bet you can. I bet there's a way to go back and get that stuff.
Well, you know what the thing about it is, and if I would have known the kids, I'd have said, leave it up.
I
They,
would I would.
Let people come in there and leave negative comments and all that kind of stuff. Because while they're leaving comments, commercials are playing, the videos are playing. You know, they're going to be making money.
I
And
know I go back on some of these old reseller videos like Rowan Resell and stuff like that. And when Dusty doing them morning shows and you, Scott, once in a while I kind of catch myself going back and listening to see how much more changed since nowadays.
well, the evolution of the reseller community if you want to call it that, on YouTube. The first one of the first videos, group videos I saw, remember seeing, it was Dusty and Chad. The couple that was up, I think they were in Idaho or someplace like that. They went on to do all of the importing the merchandise, private labeling on YouTube. Do you
Oh,
remember them?
yeah, I remember those you people. Yeah.
And there was a couple of other fellas that that kind of like started it off. Uh, what's his name up in Massachusetts? Lord, I can't remember his name. He still does videos and still does reselling, but it's
You mean a turn 99 or something like that?
no, it's I can't remember what his name is, but that's not it.
No.
But it's changed a lot.
Them
Recently.
the resellers I actually look to. You know what I mean? Like Scott and Dusty and
Well, as far as the
Yeah.
the Amazon, buying stuff to resell on Amazon. What was it? His last name was Green.
Chris
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 Green.
Green.
Yeah.
with the green room.
Well, I don't know whether it was the
He
Green
didn't. He
Room-
did. Chris Green did not do the green room.
Oh, okay, that's okay. I got that messed up.
That was what's his name out of Texas, Bonafide Hustler, and those guys.
Okay.
But he had it was like a 2 1 hour videos. He was talking about you know buying stuff uh, to sell on Amazon, and that thing had a lot of views on it. People were watching to see how he did it. Paul Gummerson, I remember he did
Oh,
the
yeah.
morning show, right?
That's the first time I ever turned the camera on was to be on his show.
Yeah, I like Paul. Paul is
Ronnie.
does martial arts now, don't he?
Yeah, jujitsu.
Yep.
Uh, uh, I thought it was Was it MMA or the?
No, he teaches jujitsu.
Oh, does he? Okay. Ronnie Hart. That's the other guy. I remember being on the show. But anyway, it's 10:30. I'm gonna pass my allotted time.
Then you can go back real back and you can see John Grumpy, how he used to look back in the day. And Scott before his beard.
Yeah, Lonnie. He used to go in there. There's a lot of guys that have just disappeared off the radar.
Lonnie still makes videos.
Does he?
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks.
Actually ran into him this time last year or last spring.
Right. Well, thank you, Stephen. Come in anytime you got time, and when I'm doing a show, you're always welcome.
Thank you, Tom. You all have a great day.
Get finished with your course now.
Yeah, I got shipping to do.
Do you? You got a lot to ship out today?
27, 28, something like that.
Okay.
You
So
know
thank
you can do that in 15 minutes.
Yeah, a vast majority of it. I bought Okay, so I got to make a video today. I went last Thursday night. The last thing I'll tell you. Last Thursday night, somebody in the chat said, you need to go to so and so's estate sale here in town. I'm like, there's a surprise in the closet. I'm like, oh shit, now I got to go. And so I'm walking through this house, and there's an older lady looking at these two trunks in the utility closet. And I'm like, ma'am, is that what I think it is? She goes, yeah. I'm like, that's all gay porn. And so at that estate sale, I bought 75 DVDs at that estate sale.
Of gay porn?
No, I didn't buy any gay porn. I bought all. I got 75 new DVDs. So they're in a box, right? Those two tubs right there are all those DVDs I got listed. I think I've got. So of those 27, I think 14 of them are DVDs. So it won't take very long. Gay porn.
You probably could have got all the porn for real cheap because nobody would want to take you out with you.
Yeah, but
I picked up one. I'm like, oh god, this must be lag, and I dropped it. I didn't like it.
All right, I got to get out of here. Thanks
All
for
right.
coming in again. Thank y'all for everybody in the chat for coming in. Are you doing a show tonight, Scott?
Yeah.
Okay, look for a notification from Scott on his channel tonight, and I guess we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Y'all have a great day.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.